Yes.
I was curious on any insight on the layout, topology, how the cables are laid out compared to
They have general diagrams online. If you go and look, they're mostly geared towards the residential topography, but there's going to be a big fiber ring with multiple strands of fiber optics that's going to go either roughly around the perimeter edge of a city or at least a geographic region, and then there's a fiber hub, and then there's a secondary hub, and then it'll go into either multi-resident units or places, businesses with suites. So
some kind of fault tolerant layout.
yeah, usually the way the fiber rings go, there can be a couple cuts before service is truly dark in most fiber rings. Still, an errant auger can ruin a lot of people's day.
What will launch first? Will it be business and then residential, vice versa? And what's the
Wish I knew.
timeline?
That's a great question. I wish I knew. I don't know.
Do they have a timeline set up for now?
They're absolutely mum on it, and they're mum on it because they don't know either.
I know in Midtown Raleigh though, they're installing fiber.
Yeah, no, they've got contractors putting the fiber in, but it's dark.
Yeah.
And once it actually really gets lit, and they're providing the service, and they're signing people up. So when they announce, so if I got the notice today, I can sign up for Google Fiber. I have to put a $10 deposit down, and within 6 months I'll have it. That's the gig right now. So I'm looking forward to the announcement. The announcement does not mean that I'm going to have a great summer.
Right.
It could, but no guarantees.
Is there any, do you know if there's any limitations on business, like having multiple sites, if they happen to have more than one location that they could qualify, or is there
No
just
limits,
one?
but you could find that one site had it and the others didn't. That's very possible. Another thing that we actually were very troubled by, and this is a quick points bulletin. Make sure if you report to a landlord, they have a multi-tenant facility, they have already been contacted by a Google Fiber representative, almost guaranteed, because they blanketed the airwaves really quickly. I don't know how they found out where all the multi-tenants were, but they did. And our landlord for our Raleigh office thought it was spam. And on the third time, when this nice gentleman named Anthony politely said, well, I guess you're not interested, I'll put you on file, the landlord forwarded it to me, and it's like, is this relevant? And I'm like, oh my God, stop. You need to reply to this guy. We need this really bad. Oh, okay. Why does this matter? So check with your landlord, make sure they've been contacted, because they're going to need to bring that fiber into the facility so that it can be distributed within your suite. And it'd be super sad for you to find out that your landlord was like, oh, yeah, I didn't reply. It's possible.
Is it going to cover Raleigh, Durham, Apex, Holly Springs, every area, or
Not
just Raleigh?
every single area. I think Apex is covered. I think Wake Forest was supposed to be covered, but I'm not sure if they actually had a little bit of a row with Wake County. So just if you go online, they show you the cities. The cities are smaller, though. There's a smaller list than there was when it was initially announced. And I can't remember which ones fell off that list. All right. I got a few more slides, but if anything jogs your...
question.
Yeah.
So when they talk about the dedicated support and all that, have they talked about anything about portals for you to look at bandwidth statistics or anything of or uptime or anything of that nature yet?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. That would probably be in the second wave when they actually have SLAs. For right now, I mean, you could do it. SolarWinds is a fantastic free bandwidth tester, and that's when you can leave running at all times, not just go into speed tests and things like that. But no, it's on you to check that out.
Okay.
So, all right. So this badge, super proud of. It took a lot of work for us to get this, and we're the first. Yes. It was awesome. So really excited about this. There's a couple other cities you see here. Someone asked about which other cities it's in. There's a couple above this. Kansas City is in there.
Basically, Austin's in there.
Austin's in there as well. You're right. And we are trying to connect up with a group called the Purple Guys. They're in Kansas City. I'm in touch with the CEO, and we're actually going to have a kind of a go-to-meeting sharing session with the Purple Guys in early June, so we can learn from their experiences because they've deployed it on almost all of their customer sites. And I've gotten the CEO's report of, it's great, seems to be good, but I want to talk to the technicians. I want to find out what equipment, what changes they have to make, and I really want to get into those weeds so I can learn from somebody who's already in the midst of it. Because I don't know about you guys, but does anyone in this room have gigabit network anywhere? About 100 megabits.
You're talking about in our facility?
Yeah, coming into your facility, 100 up and down.
I think we got a gig in there.
You have gig here? Okay, great. So a few of you have experienced it, but I don't think a lot of small businesses with small business size technology budgets have considered it.
We've got 100 in.
Yeah, that's what a lot of folks were really excited when it even became an option for a lot of us. So moving on, all of you have really 3 options to consider now that Google Fiber is here. Option number 1 is you can stay put, and enjoy the fact that you now have an internet service provider that's having to be more competitive. You're probably still going to have to call and strong arm your rep to get lower prices, but that is an option, and it's a total viable option because transitioning to a different service provider might be pretty messy, and Google right now is not going to port over your IPs, so you're going to have to deal with transitioning all that. That may be too much to bear. So you can also switch to Google Fiber, lower your monthly rates, and do nothing else. You will not likely get gigabit network speeds coming into your environment because your equipment probably can't fully support it. You probably don't have AC wireless access points saturating all your facilities. You probably don't have a lot of the things that will extend gigabit all throughout your local area network. That's okay though. You've lowered your monthly bill, you're with Google Fiber, you got a little buzz factor, you can talk to people, I've got Google, you don't, you can play that however you like. But that's another option and a totally viable one. And then the third option, which hopefully now that you guys who are here and you're interested, you can advocate for, which is switching to Google Fiber and also looking at upgrading your network equipment. So these are just 5 generalized things to think about. My hope is that in a couple years, there's 20 obvious reasons to get fast internet, maybe more. But definitely telecommuting when residential has gigabit and when your business has gigabit network up and down, it really doesn't matter where you are, unless of course you have company policies that determine that. But you'd be able to work and function as if you were sitting at your desk. Off-site backups are a no-brainer, but also cloud-based disaster recovery options. When you had a disaster in your facility and you recover in some cloud-based option, you might just stay there. No reason to fail back over inside your network anymore. So a disaster could actually be that final push and shove into a cloud-based solution. Obviously, a lot of us have phones, and we're going to need phones. Google Fiber is actually going to offer phones in some limited areas. Don't know if it's going to be offered here. But you've got RingCentral, Jive, and a bunch of other hosted VoIP solutions that you might want to think about. It'll definitely help telecommuting for your phone system to not necessarily be tethered to your local area network. You also, if any of you are using like HT Faces or any of the kind of like real, go-to-meeting options, you'd be able to really use that and it'd be great. You wouldn't be bandwidth bound, and then obviously you get productivity and performance improvements. Right now, I think we've already covered this. A lot of this I think we've already covered. There's no ETA, no service level agreement yet, but when they do offer it, it will not be the cheapest option. The biggest thing that I really want to just bring home, I think I'll probably be pounding on this a few more times, is just because you get gigabit does not mean you have gigabit inside your network. That takes a lot more equipment that can support that.
I have a question on that.
Yes, sir.